La Liberty Collision, a reputation for superior quality, spanning 7 decades. Any repair, any vehicle. Delivered on time, on budget. No compromises, no surprises. Our building has a new look, but our family's promise to get it right every time remains the same. La Liberty Collision, serving Essex and Kent counties, from 47 Mill Street West, Tilbury. Hey friends, I'm Rick Walker. Welcome back to the SST Car Show. Now that we've finished up our tour of that hidden movie car cave in Detroit, the Motor City, filled with all those movie car tribute vehicles, it's time to go for a ride. You see, when Mel Guthrie and Mike Sirico, who took us on that tour of their movie car cave, said, "Would you like to go for a ride?" We said, absolutely. When they said, "Which car would you like to ride in?" there was no question. We had to go for a ride in that Batmobile tribute vehicle, which looks just like the real thing. This is what it was like. Atomic batteries to power, turbines to speed. Holy hot rod. It's a Batmobile replica, and we're going for a ride. Technically, this is not a Batmobile. If Mike Sirico and Mel Guthrie called it a Batmobile, they might wind up in court. So this replica is called a Bat car.
I've heard it called a Gotham Roadster, a Crime Crusader. I've heard different names for them. But I mean, you know what it is. I mean, if you see a picture of the guy trying to sell this as a kid, without any, bats on the doors or whatever, you know what he's trying to do. You know what kind of car he's, you can call it whatever you want, but you got the idea.
It sure looks authentic, though. From the deep black paint and safety orange pinstripes to the labeled switches and plexiglass aircraft-style windshield, this thing looks almost exactly like the car that was used in the 1960s Batman TV series starring Adam West and Burt Ward. The original Batmobile from the 60s, built by the king of customizers, George Barris, was built around a Ford Futura concept car. This tribute car was built on an old Lincoln chassis. It actually runs and drives better than the original.
It gives you a new appreciation for how Adam West used to handle this car, because he's a big guy and it is kind of cramped. I mean, you're sitting where Burt Ward would sit, and he's got plenty of room. He was 18 years old, but Adam's, a little over 6 feet tall, and this is not the most movable, spot in the world.
It's faster too, and it sure turns heads. It generates smiles at stoplights, and when Mike Sirico is out driving this car and he runs into a woman who years earlier turned him down for a date, he gets to gloat just a little.
So now who's laughing? Not me. Not me. I got this. You could have had this. You said no.
This Batmobile tribute car is just one of about 24 movie replicas stored at this hidden movie car cave in a secret warehouse in a Detroit suburb. For warehouse and car owner Mel Guthrie, buying, building, maintaining, driving, and showing these cars is an insatiable passion.
I thought these were really cool cars, and they were in Hollywood production, so.
For Mel's partner and friend, Mike Sirico, being around these movie cars has become an addiction. Mike loves pop culture. He loves keeping the entertainment history from the 60s through 80s alive with these vehicles.
There's so many people that sat in a Batmobile and they've said, we heard this once, I've heard it 100 times, I've always wanted to sit in that car. Well, now this is where their chance was, and they did, and they were just like blown away. So, I mean, you kind of give them that little moment of their childhood or whatever you want to call it, but yeah.
Look for Mike and Mel and this collection of movie cars in the months and years ahead at car shows and comic conventions. That's where they go on weekends if they're not just hanging out in their movie car cave or driving around on the streets of Detroit in this replica of the most famous movie and TV car in the world. Rick Walker, SST, Detroit.